Okay, welcome back. This is now part 6 of this tutorial series. We're playing Ireland. As a quick recap from before, we've managed to unite 3 counties as the Duchy of Meath, or de facto Duchy of Meath, and that's where we got to at the end of the last one. Now I'm going to keep this paused for this one because we're going to now have a look at technology, which I deliberately missed out on the concepts one, and the reason I did that is because I want us to have a few counties under our belt to do that. So if you're not interested in technology, you can skip this and go on to the next part if you want, when we'll then resume the let's play, or well, the semi let's play. But I'm just going to keep it here for technology. Hopefully it won't be too long a video. It is a bit dry and a bit boring, but I think this technology is incredibly confusing how it's been laid out, but it does kind of make sense when you look at it. So for those who haven't turned off already, thank you. We're going to look at 2 aspects of technology. The main one is what the technology impacts, then the second one is how the technology itself grows, and that is actually a slight puzzle, or a bit more of a puzzle to me, but you have very little control over it, so it's not so much an issue. So the main thing is, what's the impact of technology? So let's go up to the technology screen. We're presented with this mishmash of crap. They're trying to give you some sort of average thing, but it's irrelevant, and the reason it's irrelevant is because technology works on a county by county basis. So if you move your mouse down onto your county, it changes, and this tells you what the technology levels are in at the moment Dublin, and basically it's telling us at top left that the bow technology, we've hit 1, we've got level 1 because there's a star, and we're starting now to go up to level 2, and as you can see the bar will move up until we get there, and then it will get to the next one. So all the first 5 of all we've achieved level 1, the bottom 2 we haven't achieved level 1 yet. So that's all very lovely. What does that mean? If you move over to Leinster, you'll see they've got a slightly different mix, and if we go to Kildare, they've got a slightly different mix. If you take your mouse away, it's going to give you a mishmash average, but again, as you'll see, it's all county based, so the average is kind of little interest. So why do we care about this? Well, let's take the military advances first. You've got basically all of these military advances give you a bonus to the your effectiveness of your various troops. So the bows get a 10% attack, light armour gets more defence, blah 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 blah, all the way down, right? So why do we care? Well, you care, I guess, because you're training your troops. So what you want to do is, theoretically, you want to raise them in the domain that have the best qualifications. So how are you going to do that easily? Well, you can skip over these here, but the easiest way to do it is you can colour code, and this is with a beautiful colour coding. Hit that up there and it colour codes the map in this absolutely beautiful various shades of shit. So what we have is dark shit means 0. So I've hovered over Leinster, the dark shit, and you can see bows is at 0. Go to the slightly lighter coloured shit and you have now 1. So basically we can tell here, because they never give you the key anywhere, it'd be nice if they did. Dark shit means the level is at 0, lighter shit means the level is at 1. If we just go to farming, you get a similar mix. The only reason I've done that is if we pull back and go down to the Muslim worlds, you'll see they're way ahead in economical advances. If you click on that, or don't click, just hover that, you'll see that farming, yellow is 2, red is 3. So, you know, it will move away from being this poo colour at some point. But anyway, this gives you a chance to look at the different levels. So why'd you give a crap? Well, you know, if you were going to raise some troops, you weren't going to raise your whole domain troops, but you're going to raise from either this one or Dublin or Leinster, and you cared about, let's have a look, if you cared about raising bows, well, you're better off doing it in Dublin, because Dublin gets you a benefit of being at +1, whereas Leinster doesn't. So that's the whole point, right? So anyway, that's it really. So you've done your focus there. The only other thing you've got to do is you can do a tech focus, and I tend to just do the one that's lagging behind. Military fortifications at the moment are lagging behind. So anyway, these are all county specific. They're all to do with the troops that you build in that county, and you can colour code, or you can just hover over like that and it will get you the tooltip. So that's all very lovely and fascinating. So what happens then on economy? Now there is a slightly bit more interesting here. It works in the same way, and it's split into two types. There's a tax uplift that you get in specific counties. There's an extra castle tax, so that will be against the lords or the nobles there. The city mayors will pay 10% extra, and the churches will pay 10% extra at level 1. It goes up at level 2. So those 3 are all to do with tax. Those 5 are just to do with unlocking construction buildings. So you can, once you get up, you can build, royal barracks up there. You can build a large artillery range at 1. So again, they're county specific. If you want to build a royal barracks, where is it here? Royal barracks at level 5, you'd have to get. And you want to do that in Dublin, you'd have to get that level of technology up to a 5 in Dublin to do it, to unlock that building. And again, when I say unlock, I'm talking you'll do all these things here. What you'll notice is that if once you built that after 365 days, the next level will be there, level 2, and sometimes you'll find it won't be available to you, and that's because your technology level isn't high enough. So these here are all the sort of buildings that you unlock, and it works county by county, and these are the different taxes you can get. So let's demonstrate that one for you just to prove to you it works. So if we hold Dublin, let's hold over Dublin for instance. If you look at Dublin, its trade practices is at 1. So what does 1 mean? You get a city tax of 10%. So click on Dublin, go to the city and look at his tax income, and there he gets 12 from the city, 0.2 from this little beastie that he's built, and then trade practices gives him a plus 10, and that's because trade practices in Dublin was at 10, or is at plus 1, which gives us 10%. So again, that's a very fascinating, but the more interesting example here is church taxes. Okay, go to Dublin, that's at 0, go to Leinster, that's at 1. So how does that impact? Let's go to Dublin. Church taxes are your bishoprics. Click on there, he gets 8 for having a church, and that's it. Okay, whereas if you go to Leinster, he gets 8 for having a church plus 10%, and that's because Leinster has church taxes at 1, Dublin doesn't quite yet have church taxes at 1. So that's giving you the difference between the two. It's all based on counties. So, as well as the normal taxes that you get and the taxes that your steward can squeeze out, you're also getting local taxes based on technology. So again, I tend to focus on these 3. If you're going to have that focus, it's every so often you can just change it, but the construction, they are what they are. I think just let them tick along, but try and make sure you get these limits up because it gets you money. So that's what's happening with economy and military. They both work the same way. Whatever the technological advances in that particular county is then applied to things, the relevant bits of that particular county. Come to culture though, and it's different. It's still county by county in that the technology differs county by county. However, it now isn't applied on a county by county basis. Instead, it's applied based on where your capital is. So let's explain what we mean by that. These ones here, as we know, added taxes to your lords, your mayors and your bishops. Well, these add opinions. So this adds a plus 3 opinion from your nobles, a plus 3 from your mayors and a plus 3 from the church. Okay, so whereas before you would have something like, let's follow it here, let's look at popular customs because there's a difference. So in Dublin, okay, we don't have anything, so let's go to our church here, not do that, let's find the guy in charge, him, have a look at his opinion. Oh, he likes us, doesn't he? And as you can see, there's nothing in there that says popular customs, right? So let's go to Leinster. Why am I going to Leinster? Because that had popular customs at 1. Okay, now if it was the same basis as these, you'd expect to see some benefit there for the churches. So go to his church, go to them, and again, popular customs is now missing. So what's the difference? Well, the difference is, in this case, they care about, it's their opinion of you, and you're in your capital. So therefore, it doesn't really matter in this case what the technology in Leinster is. It's all going to be based on what the technology in Dublin is, because Dublin is the one where I'm based, and it's all about opinions of me, and also of how the realm works. So why am I telling you that? Well, the reason I'm telling you that is you can, if you wish, once in your ruler's lifetime, move your capital. So, and let's see in this case why we might want to do that. So let's have a quick look at popular customs, right? And religious customs. So, popular customs. Religious customs, popular customs. Right, popular customs is a good one then. So we know that in Dublin we have 0 for popular customs, dark shit. We know that in Leinster we have +1 already for popular customs. Also, if you go to the bottom, you'll see this thing called legalism. This will be another example that's easy to show. In Dublin it's at 1, whereas in sorry, focus it. It switches the other way around for this. So Dublin's achieved 1, Leinster hasn't. So legalism is up here. It affects our domain size, and as you see there, we have 2 of 5, and the reason we have 5 is because we can have 3 as a duke, 1 because there's a stewardship bonus, and 1 because of legalism. Okay, so what happens if I move my capital though? What will be the impact? Well, let's have a quick butchers. As a recap, we know that popular customs in Dublin are at 0, which means, sorry to keep coming back, but when we look at our mayor, there's no such thing as popular customs in there. Okay. We also know that yep, we also have the legalism issue. So anyway, we know that we were getting no opinion benefit by having popular customs, even in Leinster where it was at 1. So when we looked at him here, we found that there was no such thing as popular customs in his thing. So now let's move our capital, and the way you do that is if you control another county, you get a little crown, and it says make capital. So you click on that, it says you can just do it once. Do you want to do it? So let's do it. Move the court to Leinster, okay? And you'll see our big shield goes to Leinster. So what have we actually done? Well, 2 things. If you remember now, the technology here, it won't change anything for that, because that's always done county by county. But now we've moved our capital, and these are based on the technology in the county of your capital. So beforehand, we had popular customs nothing there, and Leinster has it as 1. So if we go back to Dublin, we weren't getting any benefit of popular customs. Go to our mayor now, and have a quick butchers, and look at the bottom, popular customs, +3. Equally, we weren't getting any benefit in Leinster of that, but go to the mayor now, and popular customs right at the bottom, +3. So by moving the capital, what we've done is we've taken advantage of the fact that the technology for popular customs is 0 dark shit there, and is lighter shit 1 in Leinster. We also looked at legalism. This is why it doesn't always work. If you notice with legalism, it was the opposite. Dublin actually was at 1, Leinster's at 0. We've now moved the capital to a place with 0, so look at our domain size. It's now only a maximum of 4, because that legalism +1 has disappeared because we've moved our capital. So that is kind of what you want to look at. Now you might think, at the moment it doesn't really matter, it's the difference between, you know, dark shit, light shit, so 0 and 1. But as I said before, if you go down and look at Muslim, they're very much further advanced, and I'm playing another game in this area at the moment where my capital started here, but once I'd conquered these Muslim lands, straight away I moved my capital down, because you can look at that there, it says noble customs 2, popular 2, religious 2, so I moved my capital and I got better opinions and also better taxes. So there is a point to it. It's just you can ignore the initial screen you get. It's just a mishmash of shit basically. You can also look at the well, actually let's go on and look at how this technology spreads, and this is where I'm not very clear with it at all, okay? But basically it seems to spread out from your capital, but you can kind of see how it's spreading by clicking on one of your, let's click on the capital, now the county capital thing, And there you look at these numbers here. This is your military, and as you can see, it tells you what your military level is at the moment. So let's just make sure some of this works. Go to technology, go to Leinster, top left, bows are kind of halfway along, so they're 0.5, 0.5. Click on that and you see that bows is 0.5. But what this is giving you is telling you what bonuses you're getting, how much per year. So if you look at the first one, it's saying it's 3.62% per year. That's because it's getting a neighbours bonus, a domain bonus, and a behind bonus. And what this seems to be doing is that if you have a neighbour with a better technology, which we do, Dublin's bows is up, what it does is it gets that technology will start to spread outwards. Hence, Leinster, which is behind, is going to get a bonus from its neighbour. However, if you go then to Dublin and look at theirs, what will happen is they're ahead of the game. So they're actually going to get a negative bonus, and I guess that's to stop counties steaming ahead, because it makes no sense. They're basically saying if you've got very good technology in Dublin, then and not so good elsewhere in the realm, then really Dublin's probably going to get held back by the rest of the realm. So this will slow Dublin down, whilst it will give bonuses to the others to catch up. And that's kind of what technology is like, and it's a bit of a nightmare, because as you can see, there's nothing you can do to affect any of these apart from fourth one down. Sorry, castle infrastructure has a focus bonus of 100%, and that's because we've got our little. No, we fucking haven't. What's that talking about? Oh, maybe I had the wrong thing there. Yeah, there you go. Farming has got a focus bonus of plus 100%, and there it is. It's plus 100%. So, you know, these numbers are all fascinating, but there's not a lot you can do. It just seems to be it seems to also be based on some sort of dice roll as well. I've read where every month certain of these technologies will move up by 0.1. So next month you might find that our bows becomes 0.6, but it's not guaranteed. It's some sort of dice rolling exercise. Obviously the chance that it will go up is affected by its percentage. So bows has a 3.62% chance per year, I guess, of going up one. Light armour has much less of a chance, and that's because light armour is way ahead, so it's taking a penalty. And I'm thinking that's probably what it is. As far as the domain bonus goes, I have no idea, and I'm not even going to try and pretend that I do. So that kind of is technology. What do you want to take out of that? You know, there's diddly squat you can really do about it, apart from make sure you kind of focus. Don't get too worked up, particularly as your realm gets bigger, in what this screen's showing. Just use that there. The colour coding is very handy, not maybe so much at this stage, but it is quite handy at a point. And then as your realm gets bigger, you know, you should look occasionally in your lifetime to move your capital if you're getting these ones, which are the capital based ones. If some of those are clearly ahead in one particular holding of yours, then move your capital there, because you'll get the benefit. Apart from that, I wouldn't really go too mad on technology. I'll just let it do its stuff. If you have this thing open, every month you'll get messages telling you that your technology is advanced to 50% in bows in Leinster. That's the whole dice rolling thing, where it's telling you you have a certain, but it's actually moved up. If you do that, you'll probably find it, if you got that message, bows technology has increased by 10%, then that bows number would probably go to 0.6, I'm guessing. But it's a dice roll, and it's affected by what this percentage chance is, I think. I could be completely wrong about that, in which case someone can correct me. The only last bit to do is look at this, which does actually, let's have a quick look here. You can see that there are numbers up at the top, state attributes, right? And they are affecting the percentage as well, and that's because of these. The state attributes are your state marshal and your state learning for military. That's your state steward and your state learning, and culture is state diplomacy and state learning. That's why, as we've banged on before with stewardship, these numbers matter, and which is why, again, because we have no wife, these numbers are made up, remember, of your numbers the relevant councillor's number plus half of your wife's. So these numbers are now lower because we don't have a bird, which is why I was looking before for someone, whether there's anyone who has arrived now is a bit better. I mean, she's a tiny bit better. She's quite young. I don't know, maybe wrong religion. Well, not too wrong though. So maybe we'll think about marrying her in the next bit. So that's why those do matter. The stewardship we've seen matters for domain size and for tax. We've also got but they all kind of matter for this as well. But particularly the learning one. As you look, learning is there all the time, which makes sense because if you're doing advances, your learning is always going to be there. So anyway, that's that. I'm sorry it's frozen again. That's almost like that was part of a concept thing, but I wanted to let the game go. You can't really explain technology unless you've got a few counties where the technologies differ, because otherwise it's all theoretical. So I hope maybe if anyone gave a shit about technology and was confused by it, that's kind of helped a little bit. And if not, I'm sorry for just wasting 20 odd minutes of your life. So we'll continue with the playing Ireland in the next one. Cheers.